think it's fair to say that that was some NFL Week 15. I think we can agree. But it's a great day for picks, or weekend, I should say. 13-3. Finally, I have gotten better than 12-4, so that's a relief there. But overall, we had some exciting finishes, culminating with the one last night with the Seahawks and the Eagles. Drew Lock, 92-yard drive, down less than 2 minutes left, and found Jackson Smith-Njigba in the end zone, 28 seconds left. Great stuff there. But before we get into the games, I want to talk about a few things away from NFL football. So, Kyle McCord, the former starting quarterback of Ohio State, he's now transferred to Syracuse. Interesting situation. Interesting. You go from having a solid season with the Buckeyes and going to Syracuse. That is interesting, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. And again, we're not him, so probably has an idea about it, certainly. Will Rogers transferred to Washington. He will be the replacement for Michael Penix Jr. when Washington finishes the college football playoff, as Rogers will presumably be the successor to Penix at Washington for the Huskies. Good stuff for the former Mississippi State prospect. And kudos to Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, as former 5-star recruit of Georgia, Dylan Raiola, set to, he flipped his commitment from Georgia to now Nebraska. So, Nebraska, under Matt Rule's first season, they did make strides in his first season as head coach and some improvements, but now with getting Raiola for next year, that's an interesting get because it feels like Nebraska hasn't had a great quarterback, at least me, in like a while, at least for the time I've been covering or been following Nebraska football. So there's that. We'll see. But now let's get into, gotta talk a little about college basketball as well because it's been making rounds. So, Michigan State upset number 6 Baylor the other day, and Purdue knocked off Arizona, going back to the number 1 spot. And the Pistons for the NBA, Detroit has been on a sad losing streak. Now, again, it's a long season, but you certainly don't want to dig yourself a hole, this early. And we'll see. I think they had definitely much better expectations, with the top picks, with Monty Williams to certainly be doing better right now, but it's not going pretty much as planned. So now let's get into NFL Week 15. Some stuff go on. So I mentioned the Raiders game the other day, 6-3-21. Justin Herbert for the rest of the season. Great job by the Raiders and O'Connell. Good stuff. So flowing over to the Saturday games. Now, first one was very good with the Bengals and the Vikings. The next two are misses, you could kind of say. So now Nick Mullins, this was his first start as a Viking after, leading the Vikings to a 3-0 win over the Raiders in Vegas last Sunday. So he's made the starter, and he did well in the sense, besides the turnovers. They turned the ball over in crucial areas, which in theory met their demise, and they couldn't stop Jake Browning when they needed to most. I mean, it was 17-3. So, yeah, but great touchdown by T. Higgins to tie it. And then, well, in overtime, it was odd because Cincinnati got the ball first. Vikings had a chance. They hit a few good pass plays. Wound up on the Bengals 40. And fourth and short, they went for it. Quarterback sneaks. Bypassing what would be close to a career long for Greg Joseph, 6+ yarder. But they didn't feel confident, and they allowed the Bengals, big pass play from Jake Browning to Tyler Boyd, which ultimately set up in field goal range. And yeah, Jake Browning had to be, rewarding for him, considering, of course, the Vikings cut him a number of years ago. So that was definitely rewarding for him. So Jake Browning, Bengals story continues, riding into a playoff berth, it seems. Gardner Minshew and the Colts at home were down 13-0, but one more thing about the Bengals game, another guy that is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year voting is certainly loaded this year. Trey Hendrickson had 2 sacks. Yeah, he certainly added himself in the conversation. Be interesting to see. Go from him to the leader in sacks currently, TJ Watt with 16. He had 2 sacks in the air. They had a so-so, but was going well first quarter. They were ahead 13-0 in the second quarter, and then Colts found their way. Gardner Minshew starting to heat up, make plays, and then after they were stopped on 4th and goal, defense held tight, and they wound up following up with another touchdown drive to lead by 1 at half. That certainly switched things, and Colts never looked back pretty much after that momentum. Steelers are going to start Mason Rudolph against the Bengals. I don't know. But Steelers are in trouble. They are in trouble. Off a 3-game losing streak. So, Lions. Next up, Saturday night. How would these two turn around? Well, Lions, after losing in bizarre fashion to the Bears in Chicago, came back on their home turf. Saturday Night Football got done against the Broncos. Broncos defense has been really come to life over this. Turnaround after starting 1-5. Jared Goff played as good as he could have. 5 touchdowns, 3 of Sam Laporta, who it's him and Nakua right now with the woes in Houston, CJ Stroud getting hurt. Seems like to me it's between Laporta and Nakua for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is going to be a very good debate come the end of the season. Broncos had their chances to make it more competitive. That decision to not go for a touchdown or not even getting a touchdown in the red zone after 2 plays which could have been called a touchdown, but it was not the case with the refs. And then, the fumble that really started the game. After a big play from Jerry Jeudy, Broncos, Sean McVay had some words for, or Sean Payton had some words for Russell Wilson. I mean, it was not pretty. And they are still technically alive for the playoffs and the division, but they now need help. Yeah, they really need help. So in Sunday's game, the only weather game, that got significant weather, I feel, was the Panthers and the Falcons. It was rainy, slippery. Panthers found a way to get their second win of the season and trounced the Falcons 9-7. 9-7. Bryce Young led a game-winning drive. Kudos to him. You know, Desmond Ritter. Yeah. They were at 7-6, driving in the red zone. Throws a pick. Desmond Ritter. Again with the Falcons, it's whatever. The Bears, though, certainly had a chance. Certainly by this much. It's crazy. They were ahead 17-7 on Cleveland. And in Cleveland, Joe Flacco didn't have a great day. Threw 3 picks, but elevated them when he needed to. Stuck to it. Threw it. Threw it in a nice window for, well, kind of fit in there with Amari Cooper, and Cooper galvanized the rest for the go-ahead score to tie it, and then ultimately they got the ball back to kick what was the game-winning field goal. So, goes there, although the Bears did have a chance. The Hail Mary. Close. No cigar, though. No cigar. Baker. The Baker had a great day in Lambeau. 4 touchdowns. No picks. 34-20 in Lambeau. The Battle of the Bays. You know, one team had to get to 7-7 and still feel good about their playoff positioning. With that win, the Bucks are 7-7 and in first place in the NFC South, tied with Saints. So, you know, we saw with Geno last year, you know, on a very good team, you know, saw him have a bit of a resurgence. I mean, Ryan Tannehill with the Titans a few years ago. You know, we see that able to do some things. And, you know, Baker hasn't been great, but it's been very solid on a 1-year deal. 24 touchdowns, 8 picks. And Ryan Good. Rashad White, he's come on strong the last couple weeks as well. And Chris Godwin, you know, his wife was very upset about his usage a couple weeks ago. Well, now throwing to him, throwing to Gout or Evans. It's really good formula. No Tyreek, no problem. Dolphins beat The Jets 30-0. Zach Wilson left the game with a head injury. In the middle of the game. Sucked. Just Jets' story of this season has been crumbling. Just crumbling. Not sure what to say, but great day for Tua. Raheem Mostert, 20 touchdowns on the ground. Kudos for him. Tommy DeVito. It wasn't that pretty in the Superdome. It was 7-6 in the first half, and felt like it was going to be a sluggish game. DeVito took a hard hit up high, managed to return the game. But the pressure of the Saints is what really took this over. Whether it was Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, DeMario Davis, Brian Bresee, etc. It was just a very good day defensively for the Saints. And like I mentioned with the Bucks, they're tied 7-7. One has to win the South. So we'll see. No CJ Stroud. No Nico Collins. No. Excuse me. Again, no Tank Dell. No problem. Case Keenum slide in. Now, it didn't look all that pretty for a while. Case Keenum threw a pick six, and you just kind of felt that, or thought that the Titans would take it over. But Texans defense kept them in it. Here's the thing I want to make mention of, because I'm sure people are confused about this as well. A couple years ago when Ryan Tannehill came over and started doing very well with the Titans, for a while it felt like Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill's team. This year, especially now giving Levis a nod, it's felt more like Will Levis's team. Derrick Henry still having a good season, but it's not been to what we are accustomed of with Derrick Henry in years past. And, the O-line is young and inexperienced. It's not been great. Again, woes with Will Levis. It's a learning process. He had that great comeback late first. The Titans are the Dolphins, and they ultimately got stuck at home for the Texans. And Will Levis, he got bent backwards pretty much for in overtime. Luckily, he managed to get back on his feet, but his team never got the ball back. So Yeah. Good for Case Keenum. And yeah, Texans still alive. And I mean, they've already won more games than I thought they would. I mean, I think the growing consensus was 6 and 11, 7, 10. But now they've won 8 games. You know, and it's a three-way tie for the AFC South after the Jaguars' bit of a debacle. You know, 3-game losing streak. You know, Jags in 6 and Trevor Lawrence in concussion protocol. Colts doing really well. They're 8-6. Texans. Yeah, Texans are doing well despite all the injuries on offense. So it's going to be a thrilling finish. Hooray! The Chiefs beat the Patriots 27-17, and they're back. Hooray! I think people are stunned how the Chiefs offense, the Chiefs and the Eagles, you can definitely look at, they're not as good as they were last year. I think we can agree on that. Both teams are not as good as they were last year, but I feel like some people don't want to accept that. But it's how it is. You know, Patriots gave the Chiefs a fight for a good while, but Chiefs pulled away. Now, it's definitely a unique experience with Chiefs. I mean, look, they're going to win the division. They're probably, well, depends who they face. They'll probably win at least a playoff game. Now, they get the 1 seed still? Yeah. But do I see it happen? Not really. I mean, they just aren't as good as they were last year. And, you know, sure, they still have Kelsey, and, you know, I do like the strides that Rashid Rice has been making, but now the defense, I won't give much credit to, much credit. Their defense has been very good this season, if not one of the best. But yeah, as far as the offense and team as a whole, just not as good. But credit to the Chiefs to pull away from Pats. Pats still in their playoff position, so there you go. 49ers beat the Cardinals in Arizona 45-29. Brock Purdy left due to a high hit. Sam Darnold had a series or two, but nonetheless, Brock Purdy back in. Looked fine. You know, they're the best team in the league right now. It just feels like they're the best team in the league. Now, it's going to be in question, though, as we're going to get a Christmas present on Christmas night, Monday, as the Ravens play the 49ers. So that is going to be interesting. Commanders lost in SoFi against Rams 28-20. Matthew Stafford on point. He's been playing fire the last month. 7-7. Currently in the playoff picture. Commanders. Now, I will credit them. Sure. They were down 28-7. But Sam Howell was benched. Jacoby Brissett led them down 2 touchdown drives to make it a 1-score game. Wasn't enough, though. Yeah. Commander's situation has been rough. Just rough. Bills smashed the Cowboys 31-10. Particularly James Cook had a phenomenal day. Ty Johnson had a good day as well. Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over. Didn't have to. He didn't have to throw it as much. 31-10. After a grueling but great victory for the Cowboys, now on the road, Bills need this. They've won 2 straight now, and don't let them in. Don't let them in. Because they may screw a bunch of things up for the AFC playoffs. Jaguars lost at home on Sunday Night Football. Let this get away, this one. 20-37. Now, on one hand, they mentioned the story of they couldn't get Lamar Jackson down in crucial time. The bigger story was the miscues of the Jags. Those were the biggest miscues of the game. I mean, here's the thing. They left at least 12 points on the board before the final drive. At least 12 points. So in theory, they would have been trailing by 4, and then at least, and then that touchdown that wasn't called, that should have been a touchdown, would have given them the lead, assuming there were 4 field goals. But yeah, nonetheless, miscues. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I think we can definitely agree that was the biggest, of the game. Jags defense, held tight early, but miscues of Jags was too much for them to overcome. And then I mentioned earlier, don't have to say too much, but final drive for Drew Lock and the Seahawks rallying back to win 20-17 over the Eagles, giving them their third straight loss. You know, it felt like it was just a game, odd game, and 10-0. Sure. Seahawks found a way to tie it up at 10 apiece. Then Hurts and the boys rallied back to get the lead with a touchdown and force him a field goal. But the offense now could have said, well, Hurts wasn't feeling good going in this, and he looked good to start, but didn't look great finishing the game. I mean, we've seen it the past 3 weeks. You can say what we want, but Philly's offense has not done its job. How it would do so many times last season. They got beat up by the Niners. They got beat up by the Cowboys. They were in a dogfight versus the Seahawks in Seattle and ultimately came up short. Yeah. Seahawks done great 2 throws by Drew Lock, especially dropping into Jackson Smith and Jigba for the game winning, and DK Metcalf at the end. I mean, great stuff, great stuff. And Seahawks are still alive, and they have a win scheduled the rest of the way at 7-7. So we'll see, but they are still alive, breaking a 4-game losing streak. Yeah. Eagles have to answer some questions. They gotta rebound, certainly. Now, they do fly home to play the Giants next week, but they gotta fix some stuff because you can't be reeling going into the playoffs. So, we'll see. They got the Giants twice and the Cardinals, so they should be able to win out, but that defense, besides the front four, especially since they were out Darius Slay, their secondary has issues, just issues. We'll see. But anyways, guys, it's the recap video of stuff this weekend. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're new, obviously, kick that subscribe as well as the like button. Yeah. See you back for Thursday with the picks video and stuff. Talk about whatever. going on in the middle of the week. So, yeah, guys, thank you all. Be safe. Hey, Joe, tune love. See you guys next time. Peace.